Welcome to another exciting edition of Celebrating Sweet Success at IOBM. This is a show powered by Cadbury Dairy Milk and Dreamworld. Today my guest is Ahmed Rauf Essa. Ahmed started Telemart and joined Telemart at the age of 23. Now, Telemart is considered one of the top e-commerce marketplaces in Pakistan, one of the largest tech retail company with outstanding 30 retail stores across Pakistan. Ahmed is one of the only global entrepreneurs to win 12 global awards before the age of 31. He is featured in Forbes 30 and the 30 and selected as one of the rising stars by the World Retail Congress. And being the judge of organizations and brands like Saudi Aramco, Amazon, Bugatti, IBM, Cisco, Tata, Samsung, and a lot of other global international brands. Ahmed Rauf Essa has become the only Pakistani to chair International Business Awards in 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome Ahmed back to the Institute.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure coming back to IOBM after a very, very long time.
It's been a long time, Ahmed.
I know I can understand the problem with my introduction. It's a lot to cater.
It's a lot and it's very young, mashallah. Yeah. And we are extremely proud.
And the best thing is the introduction has added few more points to it as well. So now the number of outlets is 33 in 23 cities of Pakistan within the span of just 1 week only.
Is franchising very different?
It is because in a country like Pakistan where the retail part is dominating, retail is more than 98% in the country. So we always thought we can't just move towards the e-commerce side, because in e-commerce we do have competition. Right. Competition coming in from Alibaba as well. Right? So we do understand that retail is something that Alibaba won't be doing. So it's a very smart move to come towards the retail side of the business where 98% of the market lands. So we thought of entering into the retail, but then again into mobile phone distribution and mobile phone oriented or electronic oriented retail. It was very difficult. The reason is it's a very unorganized market in Pakistan.
And very competitive.
Very competitive, very unorganized. The margins are so narrow, narrow. For example, if I sell a phone at Telemart, normally the average gross margin on a phone on my website would be around 1%.
Wow. Just
1%. And in the campaigns or in sale events, we go down to 0.25%, 0.2%, or even at times at break-even. We sell at break-even.
So do you guys have very good back margins?
No, not really. No, not really. This is including every of the back margins.
Wow.
So it's a very competitive market. That is the only reason that we went into other categories as well. We went into healthcare. We went into pharmacy division as well. We also explored fashion. Fashion is a very good category. So, but then again, in terms of number of orders, yes, we do have fashion leading our online store. But when talking about
in fashion,
normally the apparel side.
Acha.
Apparel side in fashion and accessories. We can also say accessories, or in some cases footwear as well. So there have been times where we have sold more than hundreds and thousands of shoes in a week. So it's a very new category to us, fashion, but yes, then again, it's a very good category. We have great margins in fashion. So we do try to push more towards fashion as well. And of course, but gadgets and mobile phones and electronics is something that we like, and that people think that Telemart is related to more. And that, of course, contributes the more towards the top line of the company.
So tell us about your journey, Ahmed. How did you bundle up into the idea of starting with Telemart?
So back in 2011, I was in CBM. I was in IOBM, and it's very natural saying it's CBM because at that moment it was CBM. So it was 2011. I was in the second year of my bachelor's. I was doing BBA here, and my father was running a company which was a mobile phone distribution company. He was running that company as a chairman, and that company was then the biggest distributor of the country for mobile phones. The name was United Mobile.
All right.
And he was running that company as a chairman of the company. And 2012, it was a partnership company. There was a fight between the partners. Business went off. We went to the honorable court. We are still contesting the case. And I am an elder son in the family, so I had no other option left to work. So I went down and I started working. Mobile phone was something that I always loved. And the reason is, जैसे बच्चे खिलौने देखते हैं बचपन में, I always saw mobile phones because my father was the first person in the country who was dealing in mobile phones.
You got the first phone in the country, probably, yeah?
Yes, I guess it was 1990 when I started working in mobile phone industry. मैं 1991 की पैदाइश हूँ. So it was so it was very genuine that I would be going towards mobile phone. कि यार मैं पहली चीज़ I would be working on would be mobile phones. So I went to start working in the mobile phone distribution business. But in 2013 only we realized that I am not meant for distribution. And the reason was that CBM is meant to be a burger university, right? So you are understanding that if a person is studying in a good environment in a good university and then going back to Sadar, where you have to talk to people who you cannot connect with normally.
A different strata.
A different strategy, a different mindset. So it was very difficult for us to communicate with them as well.
Okay.
So knowingly that I belong to that industry. My father belongs to that industry. People know me because of my father and because of how my father has contributed towards towards this industry. But then again, it was a very bad bottleneck for me penetrating in the distribution business. So we started something fancy. We wanted to do something great to build a brand. At that moment, we were acting as a vendor for some of the online stores back then.
Right.
So there were 2 or 3 online stores. Kemo was there as well, owned by Rocket. So we were the top vendors for mobile phone and tablets for them. So I realized a bit late, but yes, we say a bit early for the younger generation, that e-commerce is a space that has a lot of penetration space. So we thought, why not यार ये करके देखते हैं. So I am an e-commerce buyer since 2009. I have an Amazon seller account since 2010. So you see a wave coming up in Pakistan since the last 2 or 3 years के Amazon पे account बनाएंगे. I have been there and I have been seller for Amazon. I have been seller for Flipkart India, for Souk, which was later acquired by Amazon in 2018. And various other online stores. I have been a seller of Lazada, Malaysia. So I knew how the e-commerce structure was working globally. And then when I was acting as a vendor to the e-commerce marketplaces or online stores in the country, I was like, it's a huge difference for what e-commerce is doing globally and what they are doing in Pakistan. Why not we step in the same space? So we started an online store and we found 2 things that will lead for us to take a success path. One was trust, one was price. I knew it that I can crack the price because I was in the distribution business. I know how things work. See, and because if you are dealing in mobile phones, you know Sadar is a hub for mobile phones. And very near is Regal, where you can find cameras, where you can find LEDs, where you can find appliances. Going ahead, you can go to Techno. So I had a good idea of where to source the product from, how to get the good price from, and then trust was something which was lacking in the e-commerce mindset, in the e-commerce market. So we thought of coming up with a good branding plan. So we launched Telemart back in 2013. By the end of 2013, we had a pre-hype campaign. That was I guess, the only pre-hype campaign e-commerce industry has seen in the country. So till the date. So we went to different universities. We came to IOBM as well, and we were coming up with a very huge setup of a lounge, a business lounge, leather sofas, red carpeted floors, cue poles, and games going on, giving up many giveaways every day. And we tried building up an image that people were, every other online store was lacking. So we came up with a plan कि यार लोगों के दिमाग में mindset पे यहाँ hit करना है that people can trust e-commerce. The basic hindrance was to trust e-commerce. कि price crack कर ली, now you can, if you can trust e-commerce player, then only you will buy a mobile phone or a consumer electronic product from an online store.
It's so important in this day and age. I mean, the e-commerce players, a lot of them, and namely the number 1 player in e-commerce is not someone we can trust, you know.
See, that is the only reason we came in place.
Yes.
Trust is something जो यहाँ पे lack कर रहा है.
And you guys are thriving on that.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
And Alhamdulillah. See, the average cart value at Telemart is the highest in the country. See, the average cart value at Telemart is nearly 18,000 rupees. See, normally an e-commerce marketplace sells it around 1,500 to 2,500 rupees per cart value. See, so we have been selling premium products to premium customers. We have catered to President of Pakistan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, many M&As, every other business tycoon, every other biggest celebrity. Even before the setup, the podcast, I was always also telling you that we have been catering to various other influencers as well, and who are coming naturally to us. The only reason coming naturally to us is they trust us. And if you are buying a product worth 5 lakh, 4 lakh, 8 lakh, even $1 million or 1.5 million from an online store, it means the trust level is immense for you to buy a product online, because normally we don't shop product online of this sort of stature.
Yes.
So that is something we worked on, and later we realized that we have to transition to the retail side of the business, because retail is massive. Retail is the king. See, and in every country, whether it be China, whether it be India, whether it be USA, UK, or even economies like Japan, e-commerce dominates, badly dominates. When retail dominates, why to ignore the retail part of business? So we thought of coming up with a retail plan. It was very difficult for us to crack the retail part, because I went to a store. We started, our first store was a company-owned store. We started back in 2014.
So what's the structure right now? Sorry. What's the structure right now? How many company-owned stores versus franchise?
We have 33 stores in total, of which just one is company-owned store.
Brilliant.
The company-owned store was started with a vision so that we can learn.
And pilot it, and then
we can pilot it, we can learn. My father was running a distribution business. My father understood every part of the retail business as well. But then again, we wanted कि यार मैं direct इसका एक sense लूँ इस business का.
Which is very vital.
We came up with a plan. 2014 में we started a first outlet, and 2018 was a time where we thought कि यार now we are sensible enough, we understand the business, our brand goodwill is good enough. Ab we should launch a franchising model. So then we came up with a franchising model. It was really tough, because in a business like mobile phones, you see, whenever you go to a market and you see an outlet with a board of Q Mobile or Samsung or any other, normally इसी तरह के boards होते हैं. तो every other company is paying the retailer to hold that board upstairs.
That's how it works.
That's how it works in the mobile phone industry. कि यार board मैं लगा के दे रहा हूँ and I'll pay you for this so that you carry my board. Whereas we went the other way around. We were like, मेरा board लगाना मुझे पैसे देने पड़ेंगे. See, and it was very difficult for us to convince कि board लगाने से आपको पैसे देने हैं, because in the mobile phone industry you see you go out there and you see an outlet having a billboard of Oppo and it's branded with Oppo. Oppo is spending millions from its pocket कि मैं बना के दे रहा हूँ outlet और बस मेरा board लगा दो. See, in this scenario we went to disrupt the industry कि यार हमारा brand name इतना अच्छा है कि तुम मेरा board लगाओगे और मुझे पैसे दोगे. See, it was very difficult. Start ki, I guess the first 4 franchises were very, very hard to crack. But then again, alhamdulillah, things went really well, because we always believe कि जो promise कर रहे हैं हमें देना है. So we never over-promised something. So we were having a benchmark. We will maintain this standard. We will try to organize this industry. It's a painful industry to organize. But then again, if I can crack it, why not? So that was the approach, and that is why we went in the retail.
So the learning grounds, coming back to your journey at IOBM, how was your experience?
I guess I was not a very good speaker before coming to IOBM. I always say I was a very shy person when
seeing you now versus seeing a shy speaker.
It's not something you can digest very easily. So yes, I was a very shy person when I came to IOBM.
Okay.
And I always say that institutes, मतलब basic चीज़ जो institute सिखाते हैं, that is not normally education. It's more of confidence. It's more of grasping power, the way you absorb things rightly, teamwork, team building, networking. That is what an institute is meant for. So कि आप यहाँ पे आके अगर ये चीज़ें सीख रहे हैं तो that is something that will polish you more.
Oh,
so,
yes.
मतलब if you are coming to an institute like IOBM, 60 courses, bachelors and masters, 60 courses, you would have a presentation. You would be working in a team throughout your 3 months or 4 months session.
Minimum per course.
Per course.
Yes.
Per course. So you have been working with different minds, different people. You're networking with different people who will be working then in different companies. Now it's very easy for me to connect to anyone in the country. I know right people at every other place. If I want to call a brand manager of Dollens, I can rightly dial because he's a friend of mine. I can call GSK brand manager. I can call anybody because they were my batchmates or they were dealing with me. At first, it was very difficult in IOBM as well because I was not a people's person. I didn't want to talk to people more. See, so I was very confined within myself. So it was very difficult for me. But then again, when I started, and now how it does wonders for me. I also told you that I'm a public speaker now. People call me across Pakistan and even outside Pakistan that we want you on stage to talk. See, and that is something I guess I would always give a plus point to IOBM for that. I have got really good teachers at IOBM. Sir Shiraz Ahmed, Sir Abdul Jabbar Qasim. I also have been friends with teachers who were not very friendly with others. So just because of my personality was very different from others. I was not very extrovert or not very introvert. So I was there in the middle. So I was doing good with Sir Ijaz Wase, Sir Amir Saeed, Sir Akil Beg, I guess he's amazing, and Sir Asad and Sir Zubair.
All right.
Sir, it was very difficult to communicate with Sir Zubair at first because he was really tall, and we were not tall at that point. So very nice teacher. Sir Akhlaq Ahmed is a legendary name, I guess, that has added to IOBM. And I recently met him at an event in IOBM as well, in Taqwa Tank.
All right.
And it's always amazing being seeing someone that I am an IOBM grad, and I see people doing good coming out of IOBM, and I guess more can be done. And I guess the best thing I recently saw was this show, and the alumni thing cracking up in IOBM. And I guess it's very important need of the hour that people stepping out of IOBM should know that we do have our alumni network. We do have people sitting everywhere in the country at every leading position or even at middle level position, so that they can have a very good start, they can communicate easily, they can reach out to them easily, and they can have a very, very nice future for themselves and also for the institution.
And I think that networking is so important.
Very important.
It opens up so many windows. You have that comfort zone, but more importantly, I think we've got a great legacy, Ahmed.
Yes.
I mean, we started almost 26 years ago.
Yes.
The batches, and you've seen us in the market, the kind of discipline, the rigor, the kind of resilience that we have actually been put across, and we have shown in different roles. I think it definitely has that camaraderie. Yes. And for us at Alumni Association, we definitely want to, network, spread out that collaborative, brotherly, instances across all different forums, whether it be healthcare, whether it be IT. Something that you would want to share, some words of wisdom with the students currently who are going through that struggle?
I guess what I have seen, I run a business as well, which is an advisory business. I advise some of very big names in the country.
Wonderful.
As an advisor for growth, for technology, for branding, marketing, for product development. And what I have seen, not only in students, but even in the business side of the world, we Pakistanis lack in one thing, majorly lack in one thing, which is research. We don't research. And I guess mera jo core hai, it's research. I always research. Even I have advised, I guess, more than 3,000 to 4,000 brands till the date.
MashaAllah.
मैं इतना बड़ा लगता नहीं हूँ, लेकिन I have advised such number of brands. But then again, I have seen this very closely that brands don't research. Plus, even in case, I know every industry in the country now. Because I have advised agricultural brands, I have advised fashion brands, footwear brands, pharmacy chains. I have advised everyone.
Because it's people behind the brands, and it's people whose structure and their way of getting to a certain subject is not being there. Yes. And I think
the basic structure lacks. I have advised brands having sale of around 5 billion, 8 billion a year.
MashaAllah.
But then again, मैं जब उनके साथ बैठता हूँ, the only thing I see is lack of structure, lack of research, lack of a plan. So that is something that you should have. I always ask a brand, बनना क्या चाहते हो बड़े होके? And the face is really blank. 99% of the business, I guess in 4,000 business में, I guess 4 ऐसे business होंगे जिन्होंने बोला होगा, yes, we do have a plan. And they gave me a plan which was workable, sensible, feasible. See, and that is somewhere we lack. So even if you are a student, you need to understand and you need to realize कि यार मैं कहता हूँ the best thing to do is आज के ज़माने में if you want to run a startup or a small business at first, go to Google and search top 100 startups of India. Very easy. You'll find a report, a PDF file on the top. Just read about them. One paragraph of each business, 100 businesses. Do give a thorough read to them.
Open your mind.
Open your mind. And then again, आपको मैं कहता हूँ उसमें सबसे the best thing would be you'll find 10 businesses जो आपके यहाँ लगेंगे. Then again you start studying about those 10 businesses. उसके बाद you'll see कि इनमें से 3 business मेरे pocket पे भी लगते हैं. मतलब it's very easy for me to replicate because मेरा pocket friendly है इसके लिए. ये 10 में से 7 में नहीं कर सकता.
I have the appetite for that.
Appetite for that.
I can relate to it.
और उन 3 में से इसके बाद जब उसको आप डेप्थ में पढ़ते हैं ना तो you will realize कि यार मैं किस चीज़ के लिए बना हूँ. सही है. वो चीज़ जो आप जिस चीज़ के लिए बने हैं ना वो आपको वहाँ मिल जाएगी. उसके बाद आप उस पर इन डेप्थ वर्किंग करें. आई ऑलवेज स्टार्ट रिसर्चिंग. मतलब मैं आज भी ब्रांड्स को एडवाइस करता हूँ. द फर्स्ट थिंग आई डू इज आई सिट विद द ब्रांड, आई अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट दे आर डूइंग, मैं उनके स्ट्रक्चर को सही करता हूँ एंड देन आई स्टार्ट रिसर्चिंग. आई नो मुझे कितनी दफ़ा ब्रांड के आगे बैठता हूँ, बड़े बड़े ब्रांड होते हैं, मुझे उसके कॉम्पिटिटर्स का उससे ज़्यादा पता होता है. उसका रीज़न ये बिकॉज आई एम टू दिस बिजनेस. सही है. आई लव लर्निंग ब्रांड्स. सही है. इट्स समथिंग, इट्स इन माई ब्लड. तो मुझे बैठे बैठे मैं फारिग होता हूँ, बैठे बैठे ब्रांड्स को पढ़ता रहता हूँ कि वो क्या कर रहा है. सही है. अभी शार्क टैंक भी हो रहा है तो मैं शार्क टैंक ये नहीं देख रहा, मैं ड्रैगन्स den भी देखा हुआ है, तो हम जब से देख रहे हैं. तो दैट इज समथिंग आई गेस एवरीबॉडी शुड डू कि रिसर्च करें. रिसर्च इज द कोर ऑफ बिजनेस. यू शुड हैव अ 5-year प्लान. फॉर मी एट टेलीमार्ट आई हैव अ 5-year प्लान. मेरे पास अगले 5 साल के P&Ls तक बने हुए हैं. मैं किस महीने में किस साल में किस महीने में क्या P&L पे खड़ा हूँगा. व्हाट वुड बी माई HR कॉस्ट, व्हाट वुड बी द कॉस्ट ऑफ माई सर्वर्स, माई वेबसाइट, एवरीथिंग. मैं इतना वेल डॉक्यूमेंटेड काम करता हूँ. माई स्ट्रक्चर इज सो वेल डिफाइंड. दैट इज द ओनली रीजन कि इंशाल्लाह ताला आफ्टर आई गेस अ मंथ और सो इन मे यू विल सी टेलीमार्ट सेलिब्रेटिंग 10 years, a decade in the industry. Whereas we have seen businesses coming up, major business tycoons coming up in the e-commerce space, landing up with losing 3 billion, 4 billion, 2 billion. And I guess I have 1 billion वाली तो 12 कंपनियाँ 14 कंपनियाँ ऐसी हैं जो पाकिस्तान में लॉस कर चुकी हैं. But then again, alhamdulillah, Telemart standing there. Telemart is doing wonders. Telemart is alhamdulillah growing. We recently signed a deal with one of the biggest B2B players in the country. The only thing is we do research. The only thing that helps us to reach that level is research. We work on it कि यार कौन सा ऐसा business model है जो चल सकता है. Why not work on it? Plus we always think that collaboration is something that will make you do wonders.
It will open doors. Something that, I mean, the younger audiences would want to, hear it from you. We are both visiting faculty members at different institutes.
Yes.
And the other day we were talking about the discipline that we learned at IOBM. Yes. So would you want to share about, how important is that discipline?
Discipline is the core. For example, I don't remember being late at any event in the last 5 or 7 years. सही. I have never been late to any. मतलब लोग मेरे दोस्तों को पता है इसको अहमद को टाइम बताना आधे घंटे पहले का बताना है, पहले पहुंच जाता है. सही है. तो I can never be late. मैं कहता हूँ वक्त जो है आपका जो टाइम है, it's one of the most precious thing you have. One of the most precious. If you can't value your time, you can't do anything.
And you're judged by it as well at times.
Yes.
You're judged by it. I mean, जो late आ रहा है, like they're not respecting you.
बिल्कुल. I always believe कि यार मैं अगर किसी जगह पर टाइम पे पहुंचना तो time is something which is very precious. It's more precious to me than money. सही है. मैं उस तरह इसको रैंक करता हूँ बिकॉज मैं ये कहता हूँ कि मेरे लिए मेरा दिन प्लान होता है. सही. तो माई असिस्टेंट, माई टीम प्लान्स माई डे एंड इट्स नॉर्मली मिनट टू मिनट लॉक्ड. सही है. एंड आई नो कि यार मैं इधर 1 मिनट भी आगे पीछे नहीं कर सकता किसी का. एंड आई हैव टू से नो एट टाइम्स या आई हैव टू रीस्केड्यूल मीटिंग्स एट टाइम्स बिकॉज मुझे पता होता है यार इस टाइम से मैं बाहर जाने वाला हूँ तो यार मैं या तो आगे वाली रीस्केड्यूल करता हूँ या ये वाली को एक दूसरा स्लॉट दे देता हूँ मैं. दैट इज हाउ आई वर्क. तो स्ट्रक्चर, रिसर्च प्लस डिसिप्लिन, कमिटमेंट एंड कंसिस्टेंसी. नॉर्मली पीपल आर कमिटेड टूवर्ड्स वर्क लेकिन वो कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं मिल पा रही होती उनमें. सही है. दे नॉर्मली लैक, या एक टाइम आता है जो वो जोन आउट हो जाता है.
Such a big gap. I think, I mean, we should say Karachi or we should not say Karachi में है because Karachi is very supportive in terms of those business practices. If we compare Karachi versus the other cities in Pakistan, we are very, better off.
Much better.
Commitments.
Much better.
But I mean, in your experience and in your opinion, what would be, I mean, the word of wisdom for the younger audience who are actually going through that tough time, who have opted for going into business studies, who have opted to going through their bachelor's and still saying, no, this is very tough to get at a class at 9 o'clock. How would you tackle that?
See, you know, my daily routine is normally getting up at 7:30 in the morning. I also sleep at 2 in the night. So, I get up in Fajr. सही है, तो आप अगर देखें तो I sleep normally 4 to 5 hours a day. सही है, which is less. I do understand. But then again, if I have a commitment to be at somewhere कि यार 9 बजे मुझे पहुंचना है, सही है. I am a visiting faculty at a university. सही है. अगर 9 बजे मेरी क्लास है, रोजे में भी हैं, I am there on time. It's never been कि यार मैं इस तरह कैलकुलेट, मतलब when I was a student at IOBM, there was no bridge at Korangi Creek.
Oh yes.
सही है.
Yes.
Baloch colony was overloaded with traffic every time. So we had a calculation कि यार मुझे 8 बजे निकलना है घर से ताकि मैं 1 घंटा खुआ रहा हूँ कि 9 बजे से पहले पहुँच जाऊँ क्लास में. Because our professor was like, if you are a minute late, even if he is taking attendance और हमारा नाम निकल गया, he will mark us absent.
Yes.
सही है. अब कहते थे बाहर जाना, बाहर चले जाओ, कोई इशू नहीं है मुझे. सही है. तो that is how we were taught discipline. सही है. And that is what is something running in our blood now. कि यार मुझे होता है कि यार मैं टाइम, लोगों की वैल्यू, हर चीज़ एक एट पार. प्लस व्हाट आई बिलीव इज, मैंने थोड़ा सा लेट सीखा, दैट इज़ के टीचर्स की रिस्पेक्ट आपकी हद से ज़्यादा होनी चाहिए. मतलब इफ़ आई एम इन अ सेशन, आई एम ऑन स्टेज, मेरे अगर कोई सर कॉल करते हैं, आई लीव एवरीथिंग, आई अटेंड दिस कॉल. सही, दैट इज़ मेरा एक रिस्पेक्ट लेवल. हो सकता है मैंने उनसे कोई बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें ना सीखी हो. सही है. आई रिस्पेक्ट फॉर एग्जाम्पल सर नवेद अली खान. सही है. सर नवेद अली खान, I guess he is a magical person, right? He has a very different aura to adds to himself. So recently as well, he always shops phone for himself and for his wife from me. So whenever he calls, Sir Ejaz Wase, whenever he calls, and I'm always there, I'm always available. That I always want कि यार मैं phone देखूं तो मैं इनका फौरन फ़ोन उठा लूँ, इनको फ़ौरन रिस्पॉन्ड करूँ. बिकॉज आई गेस इनकी जो वैल्यू है टीचर्स की हमारी लाइफ में, वो बहुत ज़्यादा मैं कहता हूँ उसको ग्लोरीफाई करना चाहिए. एज ए इंस्टीट्यूट भी यहाँ पे अगर आप ग्लोरीफाई करें कि टीचर्स आर अमेजिंग. सही है. दे जो अपनी लाइफ को रोक के एक जगह पे आपको पढ़ाने आ रहे हैं, अपनी सारी चीज़ें छोड़ के, और इसके बाद वो एड अप किए जा रहे हैं आपकी लाइफ में. आई गेस वो एक मैजिकल चीज़ है, आपको उनको वैल्यू करना चाहिए. प्लस जो पाकिस्तानी इन्वायरमेंट है, देखिए आई ऑलवेज बिलीव पाकिस्तान इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अ B2C बिजनेस. वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज द कस्टमर माइंडसेट इज corrupt, normally corrupt. A very strong word to say, but then again we have been facing it every day. सही है. We face it every day कि customer आपको blackmail भी करता है, cheat भी करता है.
We are in a shark tank. Yeah.
Yes.
We are so born and we have to thrive in that shark tank.
Yes, because the reason is कि you are running a, plus if you are a public celebrity, if you are a public figure, सही है. People will मतलब try to do every other sort of thing to your name. मतलब आप किसी भी ग्रुप पे जाके लिखते हैं तो टेलीमार्ट की गलती होगी, लोग मुझे बैश करेंगे. सही है. दैट इज हाउ, मतलब आई हैव सीन पीपल टैगिंग फोर्ब्स कि यार इसको 30 under 30 में क्यों लिया तुमने. सही, क्योंकि मेरा ऑर्डर 2 दिन लेट हो गया. सही है. सो दैट इज आवर माइंडसेट. बट देन अगेन not everybody can go through this journey. So that is what stands you, मतलब that is what makes you shine. कि यार किसी से नहीं हो पा रहा है, इस बंदे ने क्रैक कर लिया. बिकॉज यू नीड टू बी वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग एट हार्ट. सही है. व्हेन यू आर रनिंग अ B2C बिजनेस, आप बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग होने चाहिए एट माइंड, एट योर हार्ट. प्लस द वे पाकिस्तानी मार्केट्स चेंज, मतलब इट्स लाइक अ रोलर कोस्टर. आप बैठे पूरा दिन, चेंज, अचानक से इंपोर्ट बैन होता है, 8-10 महीने पाकिस्तान में फोन नहीं आ रहा, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक नहीं आ रहा, नथिंग. सही है. हाउ विल यू सर्वाइव? सही, यू हैव टू सर्वाइव. तो यू विल फाइंड आउट वेज कि यार मैं ये कर लेता हूँ इन महीनों में, मैं ये कर लेता हूँ. प्लस आई ऑलवेज से एक चीज विच इज बैड प्लस अ ब्लेसिंग फॉर आवर कंट्री. द थिंग दैट इज बैड इज कि पाकिस्तान दुनिया से पीछे. द ब्लेसिंग इज वी कैन लर्न फ्रॉम एवरी सक्सेस स्टोरी इन द वर्ल्ड वेरी इजीली. सही है. मैं फोन उठाता हूँ, लैपटॉप उठाता हूँ, द ओनली थिंग आई डू इज मैं लोगों की सक्सेस स्टोरी पढ़ता हूँ. एंड फॉर मी, प्लस मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ एक प्लान बना के रख लें. सही है. आप अगर कोई भी कारोबार करना चाहते हैं, इफ यू आर रनिंग अ बिजनेस, यू शुड हैव अ प्लान प्लस अ बेंचमार्क कंपनी. सही है. कि मैं ये बनना चाहता हूँ बड़ा होके. सही है. इवन इन केस यू वांट टू, मतलब इफ यू वांट टू हैव अ VC ऑन बोर्ड, कि यार मैं पैसे रेज करना चाहता हूँ, इन दैट केस इज वेल, इफ यू हैव अ प्लान, इफ यू हैव अ कंपनी दैट यू आर लुकिंग एट, कि यार मैं ये बनना चाहता हूँ, देखिए उसने ये चीज़ किया और ये यहाँ पहुँच गया, आई विल डू द सेम. सही है. My market has a bit of difference कि जहाँ ये है मैं यहाँ या ये tweaking करूँगा, but I'll reach that point. Bike is a very good example for that as well.
Have a North Star, have a role model business. Follow those values.
For example, in my case, for retail, I follow a Vietnamese company, which is Mobile World, GOD, the company name is.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And in the retail division, I also follow a few more companies, jisme, for example, Reliance Digital, which is owned by Reliance, Chroma, which is owned by Tata. Some of the biggest groups in the world are into this business, where they have a blend of e-commerce and retail.
And successful,
making money. The basic thing, I always say that the mindset of losing money. Nowadays, the mindset is that paise lose karenge, VC se paise lenge, lose karenge. I always say that aap business ke core definition pe jaye. The business ki core definition is any sort of economic activity you do for profit maximization. See, the basic keyword is profit maximization. Business में पैसा बनता है जाता नहीं है.
101 on marketing.
Yes, and for me, I belong to a family. We are Ahmeds. We don't understand losing money. And I run an e-commerce marketplace. Marketplaces across the world doesn't make money. So, जितनी बड़ी marketplace है वो उतना बड़ा loss है. If you see Flipkart India, it has lost nearly $9 billion till the date. $9 billion. So ये एक company lose कर देती है. Souk lost, I guess, $350 million before its acquisition. Kareem ने lost किया, सब loss कर रहे हैं, आज भी loss कर रहे हैं. Uber, a company, public limited company, says कि यार हम कभी जिंदगी में profit नहीं करेंगे. सही है? Whereas for me, we do make money. सही है? How do we make money? We made a business plan, a business model that was untouchable. सही है? Now I am in a space जहाँ पे मैं retail front पे alhamdulillah we don't have a competition. सही, yes, we do have a competition on e-commerce front and we are competing on that. सही है, हम पूरी सारी जगहों से fund करते हैं. We are behind biggest B2B marketplaces in the country. We are behind banks जो आपको लग रहा होता है they are selling products. They are not selling products. They are sourcing product from Telemart. सही है, तो that is how we have structured our company कि यार जहाँ भी जो भी की चीज़ बिकती है ना Telemart उसके पीछे होना चाहिए. That is how you plan for the business. That is how you plan for your lives as well. कि whenever you are planning your life, तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि मैं 60 साल तक काम करूंगा. ये होना चाहिए मैं 40 साल तक काम करूंगा, इसके बाद मैं दुनिया की हर कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करके याशी करूंगा. दैट इज हाउ बिजनेसेस वर्क, दैट इज हाउ लाइफ वर्क्स, एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई गेस इज मिसिंग इन द यंगर जनरेशन, जहाँ पे उनका एक टाइम स्पैन आई गेस जिस तरह सोशल मीडिया पे होता है कि दे वॉच वीडियो कि यार 1 मिनट से ज़्यादा वीडियो नहीं देखी जा रही, 1 मिनट से ज़्यादा गाना नहीं सुना जा रहा, तो वो टाइम स्पैन एक लैक उनका है. पहले जाहिर सी बात है वी हैड जस्ट 1, 2, 3 देन 5 चैनल्स इन द कंट्री के टीवी देख रहे हैं लोग, बैठे हुए एड्स भी देख रहे हैं. वेयरएज आज का टाइम स्पैन लोगों का कम है, तो जेन जी जो है उसको केटर करना और उसकी यही चीज़ उसके लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम कर रही है कि जहाँ दे गेट आइडियाज ऑफ बिजनेस, आइडियाज ऑफ लाइफ कि यार मैं ये काम कर लेता हूँ, एंड द वेरी नेक्स्ट मोमेंट दे आर लाइक ये नहीं ये कर लेते, ये नहीं ये कर लेते, 1 साल थक गए. I have been running this business in the last 10 years. It takes a lot of courage to be on a seat running a business for 10 years and then again making yourself comfortable that we won't reach maturity. We will be on a learning curve कि हम learn करते रहेंगे, हम अपने maturity को एक स्टेप ऊपर ले जाते हैं हर दफ़ा. तो whenever I think यार ये maturity step मेरा आने वाला है ना, कि maturity point आ रहा है, मुझे decline पर नहीं जाना, तो I will always plan कि यार मैं कुछ और learn कर लेता हूँ, मैं कुछ और कर लेता हूँ. That is how I started the business of consultation as well. Okay, now I have a full-fledged team, a full-fledged big office just for consultation, because I thought it was a choking point for me कि यार मैं इस point के बाद आके मैं भी एक rust कर रहा हूँ अपने आप को, why not मैं अपने आप को वापस repolish करना शुरू करूँ. And that is how life and business works.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what might be the rewarding areas of being in a position, in a role where you are supporting franchisees, you are consulting organizations? What's the reflection?
I guess the best thing, the best reward would be I see businesses growing. I have seen my business growing. I have seen getting 12 global awards. I have seen being part of Forbes 30 and under 30. Forbes is the biggest publication in the world. And then being rising star by the World Retail Congress. And now recently I have been judging awards, judging Saudi Aramco, second largest company on the cap table in the world.
In the world, that's correct.
It's amazing. Yeah. See, so we learn from these businesses. We have learned from Tata, we have learned from Reliance, we have learned from every other business, Bugatti, DHL. And then coming on the other side of the table, judging these brands, it's amazing. It's a brilliant feeling to be in, and that is something, I guess, it's one of the biggest rewards. I don't think money was something that I was always looking after. I was always looking after doing something great, doing something good, being recognized in the industry for doing something great, and that is the main reward that I have always received. And I guess I love to see brands grow. And that is something that is in my blood. I want to see brands grow. I advise brands. I have advised brands जो कि बहुत छोटे थे एक time पे. I haven't charged anything from them. The only thing I was betting on was the passion of the founder, and that is what I love. कि वो passionate है, I'll push him to a place where he can do wonders. And at the later stage, that those companies have done wonders. Sure. And now I am also part of their cap table as well.
Wonderful.
So it's brilliant.
Wonderful. So, Ahmed, you're leading a big team.
Yeah.
And people and processes, you put them together, you will have a brilliant process, but it's always the people that matters. Any advice for manage people? What's your go-to couple of tips that you present on?
See, my basic advice would be to try working on systems, try working on structures, try working on softwares, technology.
Right.
Technology will take you to bigger levels, to higher levels, and for people not investing rightly in technology, fail very badly. I have seen businesses collapsing because they had no certain structure, certain methods to run certain technology, and when they started going toward the growth stage or the latest stage of the company, they fell off. The reason was कि technology में invest नहीं किया, लोगों में invest नहीं किया. I guess we do, even in my case, we made blunders initially. We made a lot of blunders in hiring people. We always thought कि यार सस्ता बंदा रख लेते हैं, पैसे बचा लेते हैं, सही है. I guess this approach led to a downfall, I guess, in 2016 and 17, कि जहाँ Telemart was stuck in badly in many things, many things, सही है. We have seen मतलब points के जहाँ पे लगता है यार अब बंद कर देते हैं, सही है. वो we have seen those places. मैं अगर एक दर्जन दफ़ा मैंने ऐसा हो गया है कि we have seen this time, and I guess the right investment in people have always helped me. कि जहाँ पे I have hired people कि जहाँ मैं उसको महंगे पैसा आप दे दें उसको, वो अपने पैसे खुद कमा के देता है, सही है. Plus, I always believe in structure. I always believe in technology. I always believe in daily reporting. सही है. This is something very मतलब अगर यूँ देखें तो normally लोग इससे irritate हो जाते हैं. लेकिन मैं ये कहता हूँ कि employees अपने हाथ से अपना नामा अमाल दिन का बनाते हैं. सही है कि मैंने दिन में ये किया. I am here for 8 hours a day, and if my daily report says कि मेरे पास 1 घंटे का काम है, सही है, तो आई एम नॉट डूइंग जस्टिस, सही है. प्लस वी ऑल्सो नो कि यार मैं किसी को ओवरलोड ना कर दूं, सही है. तो हम हमारे इसके बाद फिर क्या करते हैं, हम लोग इस तरह के सर्विस रखते हैं, कस्टमर ओरिएंटेड सर्विस, एम्प्लॉय ओरिएंटेड सर्विस, कि वी शुड नो वेयर वी स्टैंड. और प्लस वी ऑलवेज कंपेयर आज का दिन भी कि मतलब वी ऑलवेज हैव कि यार मेरे ये 6 महीने आज तक के टॉप रहे हैं इस कैटेगरी के, ये 6 महीने टॉप रहे हैं इस कैटेगरी के, और उसके बाद हम उसको रिलेट करते हैं आज के महीनों से कि यार हम कहाँ फंस रहे हैं, वेयर आर वी लैकिंग, कि कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ है जिससे हम स्टॉप कर रहे हैं कि यार ये महीने जैसी सेल हमारी इस कैटेगरी की नहीं आ रही है, सही. तो देन वी रीथिंक. प्लस वी ऑलवेज से कि यार जब डाउनफॉल होता है किसी कंपनी का, या कभी मैं कहता हूँ मंदा होता है, स्लो एक मार्केट हो जाती है, तो स्लोनेस जो है वो आपको एक चीज़ पे आपको बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिट देती है. वो ये होता है कि यू गो बैक टू द टेबल, स्टार्ट रीथिंकिंग कि यार मैं कहाँ गलत गया हूँ, सही. कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ है कि आज मैं फारिग बैठा हुआ हूँ, सही, मेरे पास काम नहीं करने को. प्लस एक चीज़ आई ऑलवेज बिलीव एंड आई ऑलवेज से कि आई एम वेरी वोकल अबाउट इट कि यार वर्स्ट थिंग अ बिजनेस ओनर कैन डू इज टू रन इनटू ऑपरेशंस. अगर आप ऑपरेशन में हैं एज अ बिजनेस, योर टास्क एज अ बिजनेस ओनर, एज अ बिजनेस लीडर इज जस्ट टू स्ट्रैटेजाइज कि मुझे फ्यूचर क्या करना है. पास्ट फ्लश कर दें, आई गेस पास्ट को आग लगा दें. प्रेजेंट के लिए आपने लोग रखे हैं, आपका काम सिर्फ और सिर्फ ये था कि यू शुड प्लान योर फ्यूचर वाइजली, सही है. और अगर आप ऑपरेशन में डे टू डे में लग जाते हैं, देयर विल बी अ टाइम जहां पे एक डेडलॉक आएगा, बॉटलनेक आएगा, यू विल फेस चैलेंजेस एंड यू विल हैव नो वर्क इन द प्रेजेंट. तो आपके पास फ्यूचर तो था ही नहीं प्लान करने के लिए. तो आप फ्यूचर अगर प्लान करते हैं तो आई गेस राइट फ्यूचर अगर आप प्लान करते हैं, प्लस विद द गुड रिसर्च. मैंने आपको पहले भी कहा मैं रिसर्च पे बहुत ज़्यादा भरोसा करता हूँ, और रिसर्च मुझे हमेशा एक एडेड एडवांटेज देता है. आई ऑलवेज रिसर्च फ्रॉम द ग्लोबल कंपनीज. आई नो कि यार वेस्ट में ये हो रहा है और इंडिया में ये हो रहा है, यूएई में ये हो रहा है, सही है, रिलेटिव मार्केट्स में ये हो रहा है. तो आई नो कि ये जो यहाँ चीज़ हो रही है ना, ये अगले 5 साल बाद पाकिस्तान आने वाली है.
So deciphering that, sorry, for the audiences, West because they are ahead of us.
Yes.
India because they are very similar to us.
Similar demographics.
Similar demographics.
Plus, I always believe that the first thing will happen in the West or China. सही है कि वहाँ पे यूएसए में हो रहा है, चाइना में एक चीज हो रही है.
2 decades ahead of us, 1 decade.
उसके बाद it comes down to when it comes down to subcontinent region, it will always start from India.
And greater execution, bigger market, and they've done it.
Plus we understand कि India plus Vietnam is also a very similar market. सही है, Vietnam is a very similar market. Philippines is a similar market. Even UAE. Why UAE? People always say कि यार आप UAE को West world को ये अचानक से Arab world को काम mix कर रहे हैं. Because UAE में रहने वाले लोग कौन हैं? People from subcontinent. सही है, मेजॉरिटी लोग तो सब कॉन्टिनेंट के वहाँ पे, तो वहाँ माइंडसेट वही है. प्लस द आई गेस द बेस्ट एडवांटेज यूएई हैज ओवर एवरी अदर कंट्री इज यूएई हैज अ इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन ऑफ 100%. 100% लोग वहाँ इंटरनेट यूज करते हैं. दैट इज द ओनली रीजन उनका ई कॉमर्स लैंडस्केप इज मैसिव. सही है,
थ्राइविंग.
द ई कॉमर्स मार्केट इज मोर देन $40 billion. पाकिस्तान और वहाँ पे जो टोटल आबादी है इट्स 92 मिलियन. सही है, 9.2 मिलियन. सॉरी 9.2 मिलियन. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि आपके गुलिस्तान जौहर और गुलशन मिला लें तो उतनी ऑडियंस है पूरे यूएई की. सही है. एंड देन अगेन दे आर डूइंग वंडर्स इन ई कॉमर्स जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन. कि इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन इज 100%. दे आर डूइंग ई कॉमर्स ऑफ मोर देन $40 billion. पाकिस्तान हैविंग अ पॉपुलेशन ऑफ 250 million people, which is पता नहीं कितने मल्टीपल ऑफ यूएई, बट देन अगेन वी आर नॉट इवन क्रॉसिंग 5 billion mark. सही है. द बेसिक प्रॉब्लम लाइज इन द इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन. हाउ डू यू नो? द रिसर्च पार्ट. कि इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन ये है, स्मार्टफोन ये है, इंटरनेट इतना है. अब स्मार्टफोन इन पाकिस्तान इज नियरली 26%. इंटरनेट इन पाकिस्तान इज 23%. सही है. इफ यू हैव दीज नंबर्स ऑन हैंड तो यू नो कि यार इतने % ऑडियंस है जिसको मुझे केटर करना है और उसके लिए मुझे चीज बनाना है. प्लस नंबर क्रंचिंग इज द कोर. व्हेन यू आर स्टार्टिंग अ बिजनेस यू शुड नो कि मेरी ऑडियंस क्या है, वो ऑडियंस है कितनी, कहाँ है, are they accessible to internet, do they have smartphones? Because for an e-commerce business, especially for an e-commerce business, what you will do is कि you will start a social media page. You will go to social media, you will start running ads and you will start targeting people from social media. So you need to understand that for people not having smartphones won't be on social media.
Oh yes.
So you need to eliminate those individuals कि ये वाला नंबर है जिसको मुझे cater करना है. And in that market you need to understand कि मेरी audience size क्या है. Pakistan has the second largest youth population in the world. 62% of people in Pakistan are youth. 62%. सही है. तो वो मैसिव नंबर है. प्लस उसमें अगर इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन आती है, यू कैन डू वंडर्स. बट देन अगेन इंटरनेट इज द कोर. फॉर अ कंट्री लाइक अस वी हैव बीन फेसिंग इंटरनेट डेफिशिएंसी. हमारे यहाँ शार्क खा जाती है तार. हमारे पाकिस्तान में, दुनिया में नहीं होता कि शार्क तार खा जाए. सही है. बट देन अगेन आई गेस यू शुड बी स्ट्रॉन्ग इनफ टू अंडरस्टैंड के सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट का गेम है. बिजनेस इज ऑलवेज सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट. कि जो लोग स्टैंड कर जाते हैं, आई गेस जो आई ऑलवेज से कि for a company who is running an e-commerce business, and if they survive for a 3-year span, I guess now they can survive for 30 years now.
Thick skin होनी चाहिए, competitive advantage होना चाहिए, and I think which is very important. You have to be
very focused, a very focused business plan should be there. मैं कहता हूँ घोड़े की तरह आपको यूँ लगाना चाहिए, and you should start walking straight. You should मतलब even my friends I know people from the university as well जो कहते थे यार ये नहीं हो पाएगा, पागलपना है, ये क्यों कर रहे हो, पागलपना है. मैं इस तरह नहीं होता दुनिया में. सही है. they used to tag me in post के यार जहाँ पे किसी ने कस्टमर ने बुराई कर दी है. सही है. तो I have seen that as well. But then again if you are morally right, ethically right, you know your business principles are in place, you know you can do wonders, and everything you are doing is backed by research. Nobody can touch you. Nobody. It is impossible. फिर ये होता है, मैं कहता हूँ इसके बाद भी अगर कोई चीज़ फॉल बैक होता है ना, then you should rethink. You should try to go back to the Almighty and say कि यार कोई बात नहीं, आपने मेरे लिए कुछ बेहतर लिखा होगा. And that is how you plan again your life.
That trust and that faith, Ahmed, mashallah, from your communication, and I mean I've got a lot of students who kind of look up to you as well. You know, the students, your students, you know, they come up and when I ask them, it's like, yeah, Sir Ahmed, we are inspired by your communication.
मैं कहता हूँ मेरा जो belief on the Almighty is it's immense. सही है. Because I always believe कि एक जो हमारे एक उर्दू में बड़ा मशहूर कहावत होती है कि इज्जत और जिल्लत दोनों अल्लाह के हाथ में है. तो अल्लाह ने अपने हाथ में रखी इसीलिए, अल्लाह ने अपने पास इसलिए रखी है बिकॉज लोग उसको मिसयूज करते हैं और अल्लाह को पता है मुझे किसको सही तरह देनी है. सही है. तो अगर मुझे 4 लोग इज्जत करते हैं और उसको वैल्यू करते हैं मेरी चीज़ को, वो इसके लिए क्योंकि मेरे प्रिंसिपली आई एम वेरी करेक्ट. सही है, मैं कहता हूँ मेरा वेंडर भी मेरा भाई है, मेरा कस्टमर मेरा भाई है, मेरे जो एम्प्लॉइज हैं वो मेरे भाई हैं, मेरे सारे पार्टनर्स मेरे भाई हैं. इफ आई हैव दैट moral ethical values in place, I guess nobody can stop me in this world कि यार मैं अच्छा काम करूँगा. And that is something which is an open secret. We do belong to a society जहाँ पे alhamdulillah we are all Muslims. When majority of us are Muslims. So if we are Muslims, we belong to a same. मेरे पास जो book है जिसको मैं पढ़ा हूँ वो आप भी पढ़े हैं. That is an open secret. तो अगर हम उस open secret से फायदा उठा लेते हैं तो why not?
And that is I think one of the fundamental ways that you as a business can develop trust. Something that you had mentioned. Speaking of which, now we must walk into our session of having some sweeteners coming to you. These sweeteners are top of mind messages or some answers that we would want. So if you can have your top of mind point for these words. Leadership.
Aura.
Your favorite product.
Watches.
Value that you preach.
Islam, religion, ethics, moral values.
Wonderful. Favorite subject at CBM?
Marketing.
Future?
Really bright, very bright, massive.
Consumer centricity?
Core of B2C business.
Challenges?
Part of business.
That's more like it. Franchising?
Massive. Franchising can do wonders.
It still is
way ahead of the e-commerce, the retail landscape.
Untapped potential.
Untapped, very untapped.
Disruption.
I love it.
Retail excellence.
Very important. Very important. In a dominating country like, in a retail dominant country like Pakistan, retail presence, retail, the aura that retail creates is very important.
I think it is so vital. I mean, we've got Kriana stores and we've got great fancy stores as well.
I recently saw a video of a supermarket in India, in Mumbai. And the only thing they did was कि यार इतना खतरनाक aura बना के रखा. The way they have been dealing is phenomenal. जो उन्होंने बनाया बड़ा lavish store है. The basic reason for creating a lavish store was कि मुंबई के सारे celebrities हमारे पास आएंगे. सही है. वहाँ पे जो चीज़ 2000 रुपये की है वो 5000 रुपये की बेच रहे हैं. But then again, people are showing up. सही है. And now it's famous because now people are going to that supermarket for a reason कि हम जाएंगे तो यार हमें कोई celebrity मिल जाएगा Bollywood का and we'll take a picture with them.
It's the Harrods.
So that is how you get. Yes.
And I think that works. You have to understand your target market. You have to research about it. You have to be optimistic. Any word of advice and wisdom for fellow alumni who are starting out right now, who are in the middle careers, who are in the C-suites?
I guess for the people who are starting, I want to say कि find a good job. If you are going towards the job sector, find a good job which will give you good learning, not good amount of money. सही है. I guess Setia organization will give you the best knowledge that you will want to have. आज जितने भी बड़े C-level executives हैं, जितने भी बड़े business tycoons हैं, they started doing jobs in a Setia company. See, the only reason I say Setia company is because वहाँ पे चीज़ें organized नहीं होती. And that is the best thing that you can have a knowledge कि यार finance वाले से भी बात कर लेता हूँ, इससे भी बात कर. So you understand business on a whole, and that is what will polish you at first, and that is what is needed at the first place. कि यार आप initial career start कर रहे हैं, you should know कि यार क्या है. Plus find a job in a place जहाँ आपको लगता है मुझे career बनाना है सारी जिंदगी. सही है. ये ना करें कि यार मुझे यहाँ job मिल रही है मैं वहाँ चले जाता हूँ. Find a place जहाँ पे आपको लगता है ये इंडस्ट्री इज माई पैशन, दैट इज वेयर आई बिलोंग टू, दैट इज वेयर. और वो बिलोंग टू कैसे पता चलता है? बिलोंग टू पता चलता है आपकी रिसर्च से कि आपने कितने ब्रांड्स के बारे में पता है, क्या चीज़ आपको एक्साइट करती है एज अ पर्सन. बिकॉज इफ यू आर गोइंग टू अ जॉब और इफ यू आर रनिंग अ बिजनेस एंड इट डजंट एक्साइट यू, आई गेस वो फिर स्ट्रेसफुल हो जाता है. लोग मुझे कहते हैं आप इतना काम करते हैं आपको स्ट्रेस नहीं होता. मैं कहता हूँ मुझे पसंद है वो चीज़, इसलिए मुझे स्ट्रेस नहीं होता. अगर मैं वो चीज़ कर रहा होता जो मुझे पसंद ना हो तो स्ट्रेस होता. सही. लोगों के 8 घंटे नहीं निकलते जॉब पे, मैं 12 घंटे भी बैठ जाऊँ मुझे मज़ा आ रहा होता है. मैं काम करता रहता हूँ, मेरे पास मुस्तकिल लैपटॉप खुला होता है. सो ये चीज़ें आई गेस बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्लस इफ़ यू आर इन अ मिड लेवल करियर स्पैन के यार आपको लग रहा है कि यू हैव डन समथिंग राइट, यू आर एट अ गुड पोजीशन, एक ब्रांड मैनेजर लेवल पोजीशन पे आप आ गए, तो आई गेस यू शुड ऑलवेज हैव अ पॉज, एक ब्रेक लें लाइफ में. सही. जहाँ पे रीथिंक करें कि यार मैं इस पोजीशन पे हूँ तो क्या मैं इसी से आगे जाना चाहता हूँ, या मैं थोड़ा बहुत अपना पिवट करना चाहता हूँ ज़िंदगी में. नॉर्मली आई हैव सीन पीपल रियलाइजिंग इट वेरी वेरी लेट, कि जहाँ वो एक सी लेवल पोजीशन पे होते हैं, बट देन अगेन दे रियलाइज कि यार ये पोजीशन पे मैं हूँ ज़रूर, लेकिन मुझे पसंद नहीं है काम. एंड यू आर वेरी लेट फॉर दैट. सो दैट इज़ अ पोजीशन मिड लेवल में कि यू कैन चेंज. प्लस इफ़ यू आर अ सी लेवल एग्जीक्यूटिव, आई ऑलवेज से कि अगर मैं आई ऑलवेज बिलीव कि जैसे आई एम ऑल्सो टीचिंग इन इंस्टीट्यूट, तो मैं ये कहता हूँ कि अगर मैं वहाँ पे 80 बच्चों को पढ़ा रहा हूँ और अगर 80 बच्चों की लाइफ अच्छी नहीं होती मेरे आने के बाद, तो आई एम डूइंग समथिंग वेरी रॉन्ग. सही है. तो दैट इज समथिंग आई ऑलवेज बिलीव कि वर्क स्पेस पे भी होती है. तो इफ यू आर अ सी लेवल एग्जीक्यूटिव, यू आर अ लीडर देयर. सही, पीपल लुक अप टू यू. सही है. तो मेरे यहाँ से कोई लड़का छोड़ के जाता है, कहता है यार मैं अपना कारोबार करना चाहता हूँ, तो मैं उसको बिठा के सारी जिंदगी एडवाइस फ्री में देता हूँ कि यार आप मेरे साथ बैठो, जब भी कोई काम हो ना मुझे एक मैसेज कर देना, कोई बता नहीं. सही है. द ओनली रीजन इज आई वांट पीपल टू ग्रो, एंड दैट इज हाउ आई बिल्ड रिस्पेक्ट अराउंड माई सेल्फ. क्या पीपल नो कि यार मैं अहमद को कुछ भी बोलूंगा ना वो मना नहीं करेगा. आई ऑलवेज से यार जॉब के लिए ना छोड़ना मुझे, कोई अच्छा काम करने जा रहे हो ना तो मैं उसमें आपको सपोर्ट भी करूंगा. देयर हैज बीन टाइम्स के आई हैव मतलब आई गॉट अ पर्सन फ्रॉम वाज अ डेटा एंट्री एग्जीक्यूटिव. इनिशियल जॉब 20-25 हज़ार की जॉब कर रहा है डेटा एंट्री, एंड ही एंडेड अप बीइंग ऑपरेशन हेडेड बाय कंट्री इन माय बिजनेस. तो ऑपरेशन हेड तक मैं उसको लेके आया. उसके बाद भी जब उसने छोड़ा, द ओनली रीजन वाज कि उसने बोला मैं अपना कारोबार करना चाहता हूँ. एंड द फर्स्ट थिंग आई सेड वाज यार मेरी जहाँ सपोर्ट चाहिए ना, मुझे लगता है कहीं से हम इधर से हम ब्लेंड कर सकते हैं बिजनेस से, मुझे बताना, वी विल सपोर्ट यू फॉर दैट.
दैट्स अ ग्रेट वैल्यू.
सही. एंड दैट इज मतलब आई नो पीपल विलिंग टू बी माय असिस्टेंट, business grads, they have done masters in marketing, supply chain, they want to be my assistant. The only reason to be my assistant was कि यार हम learn करना चाहते हैं आपके साथ, कि हम learn कर लें ताकि हमारी life sorted हो. सही है. तो वो क्या करते हैं, मैं कितने बार असिस्टेंट्स रखता हूँ, एंड देन अगेन वो 3-4-5 महीने में उनकी मैं करियर सेट करता हूँ. मैं कहता हूँ चले जाओ, अब आपको मेरी जरूरत नहीं है, नाउ आई विल हायर समवन एल्स. सही है. दैट इज हाउ आई गेस लीडर्स शुड बी एट द सी लेवल पोजीशन. दे शुड ब्रिंग अप मोर एंड मोर लीडर्स, एंड दे शुड बी लाइक कि यार मैं 10 दिन बाहर भी घूमूं, मेरे काम को फर्क नहीं पड़ना चाहिए. अगर आपके होने से ना होने से काम को फर्क पड़ता है, यू हैव डन समथिंग टेरिबली रॉन्ग इन द कंपनी. सही है. एंड दैट इज व्हाट जो आपको पहले दिन सोचना चाहिए, बिकॉज दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ द स्ट्रक्चर, इनिशियल स्ट्रक्चर. इफ यू वांट टू मेक अ बिल्डिंग के 14 स्टोरी बिल्डिंग बनानी है, सबसे पहले आप उसकी प्लिंथ पे काम करते हो, उसकी बेस पे. उसकी बेस जितनी स्ट्रांग होगी दैट विल डिफाइन कि आप कितना टॉप तक जा सकते हैं. तो बेस स्ट्रांग 2 चीज़ों से होती है, एक आपकी रिसर्च से, आपके कोर्स से, प्लस आपकी वैल्यूज से. ये 2 चीज़ें आपकी इन प्लेस हैं. आई गेस nobody can stop you in this world.
Wonderful advice and a great session with the CEO of Telemart, our alumnus Ahmed Rauf Essa. Ahmed, this was a great opportunity. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Mashallah, you've done so well. Young CEO, and mashallah, you've taken up your father's business to leaps and bounds. We wish you the continued success and the very best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me.